Welcome to English Central's webinar series. This webinar is Using Images Creatively and is hosted by Jamie Keddy, author of Images.
Excellent.
All right, so off you go. There you go.
Thank you very much, Tyson, and thank you for inviting me, and thank you everybody there for coming along tonight or this afternoon if you're in Canada, or this morning if you're some other places. You might know that this is take two of this webinar, because the first one didn't quite go according to plan. Here's a little blog posting I wrote about it, and some of you will have experienced it with me, I think. But 2 minutes into the talk, the whole internet went dead. I had no idea why. It came back 2 minutes after the scheduled time, and I found out that there was no fault in the area. And that was in Reading, near London. And that was using UK internet. And now I'm in Barcelona right now, and nothing can go wrong. The Spanish internet is a lot more reliable, as we all know. So yeah, so that's me looking unhappy there. Just technical mishaps, we all know about them. And it's nice to be with you all. It's very strange because this is midnight for me, midnight in Barcelona. It feels like I'm doing a late night radio show. So here's me just saying hello to you. That's a lot happier today than last time because everything's going fine. And just want to just tell you a little bit about myself. So I'm a writer, I'm a teacher trainer. I'm based in Barcelona. I have been since 2000. One of my big interests as a teacher and as a teacher trainer is the role of image in language teaching and language learning. In particular, video. I'm a great, passionate person about video, and I think YouTube is one of the greatest resources the language classroom has ever seen. This is my site. It's called TEFL Clips, and it explores ways of using video and online video in particular in the classroom. Tonight, though, we're going to look not at moving images, but at still images. And I'm going to present a few activities from my book. This is my book here. It was started as a project in 2006, and I don't actually talk about it very often, so you'll have to excuse me if I get carried away. Okay, so what I'd just like to do is maybe present an activity from each chapter. I think what we're going to do actually is we're going to look at 3 activities in depth, and maybe we're going to use the other 3 activities as just sort of representatives of the chapters in general. You'll see what I mean. So I want to just look at one activity from chapter 1, that's images from listening, another from chapter 2, another from chapter 3, and so on. Okay, so let's see. I think we're going to start off with an activity from the first chapter. It's one of my favourite activities in the book, actually, and it's called a mental image dictation. Now, I know a lot of you will use images for dictation in the classroom, and usually when we talk about using a picture for dictation, what we do is the teacher takes the picture, describes it to the class, and the students draw what they hear, so they recreate the picture on paper. With this activity I'm going to show you, it's more or less the same, but instead of having the students recreate the picture on a piece of paper, we have them do it actually in their own minds. So there's no paper necessary. It's a purely verbal process. And I have to apologise at this stage because I want to share something with you that is a little bit sad. And that is it's a story of a sad story of an unhappy life, rather. And it's about a young man called Robert Pershing Wadlow. Now, can I just ask, if you know who Robert Pershing Wadlow is, but don't, if you do know, don't type it in so everybody can see. Just say yes, I do know, or no, I don't know. It'd be interesting for me if you can tell me if you know either yes or no who Robert Pershing Wadlow is.
We're getting some no's, mostly.
Mostly no. Have you got any yeses, Tyson?
Yes, one person, Daniel Barber, says
Daniel
you told him.
Barber. Damn that man.
But I don't know, Tanya doesn't know, Nicole doesn't know, and a variety of other people don't know.
I should just point out that I know Daniel. And that sounded quite bad, but it said I know Daniel's a friend.
Who's
Hello,
the name
Daniel.
again?
Robert Pershing Wadlow.
Robert Pershing Wadden.
Yeah. Now, I apologise because it's quite a sad story. And he was a young man. He loved photography, and he loved stamp collecting. He loved his family, and as we've just found, you're not aware of his name. I'm absolutely positive that you would recognise him instantly if you could see a photograph. And in fact, I'm looking at one right now. Funnily enough, so I'm looking at this photograph of this young man, Robert Pershing Wadlow. I think it's quite a well-known photograph from his life. It was taken somewhere in a garden somewhere in the Midwest, USA, shortly before 1940. So it's black and white, of course. We've got mum, we've got dad, we've got brothers and sisters, and they all smile as they stand lined up for the camera. Now, behind them all stands Robert. His left hand is resting on his father's shoulder, and his right hand is resting on his brother Eugene's shoulder. And as I look at this photograph of Robert, and I look at his graceful smile, I try to imagine what his life was like. And he must have suffered. He must have really suffered as he wished he could join his family in the foreground of the picture, like any normal boy. You see, Robert died when he was just 22 years old. There was quite a few clues in what I just said. In describing this photograph, there's a few clues. I wonder if anybody could work out who Robert Pershing Wadlow was. Could you type into the comments box, except for Daniel, of course, because he knows already. If you think you could know, you know who he is, type in who you think he was now. Anything coming through, Tyson?
So far we have a nope.
No? Okay. So
And
at this
the big
stage,
fella?
well, at this stage we can really juice this, because when I say juice, I mean really get all the juice out of the orange. You know, we've got one picture, and I read it again. Of course, I read the text again. I read it a third time and a fourth time if necessary. And I said read the text. Students aren't aware that you're reading a text, but you are. And you're looking at a photograph, and you've got the text prepared. I didn't read that last line, of course. The clue may have been that Robert was standing in the background but wished he could be in the foreground, like any normal boy. Robert died when he was 22 years old. He was the tallest man in medical history, and somebody said in the comment, didn't they, Tyson?
Yep.
Big guy.
Yep.
So they were right, you see. So the secret to this activity, is to choose the picture that you can describe, yet there's some little piece of vital information that you're not actually communicating to the students, and their task is to work out what that little piece of information is. That sounds quite complicated, but when you start looking at all the pictures around us, you'll see that it's actually very easy to find pictures that suit this type of thing. Let me give you another example of an image.